right, thank you all for coming here. Y'all are part of this is y'all's first conference for y'all's Everest exploration. Y'all are going into the Everest region. And I'm here to talk to you. My name is Madison Harper, and I'm the textile consultant for the Everest region, and specifically Nepal. And I'm here to talk to you about what you're going to need for this expedition, because you're going into some harsh conditions. And I'm going to move into that as my first point to talk about what you're going into. I already know you have some other briefings to go to, but I think that it's something that you should be prepared for, because there's a lot of side effects that can happen if you aren't prepared. Now, then from there, I'm going to move on to my recommendation for the gear that you should wear on your expedition. And then I'm going to follow up with the reason why I chose that gear. Let's move on to the first point. The Everest region, where you're going into these conditions, it's freezing cold. I mean, it's below freezing. It's negative 16 to 40 degrees Celsius. The winds, there's hurricanes that come up all over the place. They hit you. The winds have been recorded up to 175 meters per second. They can almost knock you off the mountain. And that's also other concerns. We have people that climb up there, you're climbing with a group in expedition, and you get knocked off this mountain. You get blown off, you get torn around. The weather just beats you down, and you need to be prepared to be able to stand up to all this. There's avalanches that can happen at any time. You have crevasses, you have falls, crow's falls, which means you're walking along, there's snow all along, you think it's real nice, all looking at the beautiful scenery. Take a step further, you fell into a 40-foot hole, you fell into an 80-foot hole. And how do you recover from that? You have to bring the correct gear. You have to make sure that you're testing the ground before you're walking around. Like I said earlier, other climbers, you're walking, they may be ahead of you, they may be climbing the ropes, they fall off, they hit you, you hit the person behind you, you're on this expedition. One thing that you're going to be provided with on your expedition is you're going to be provided a Sherpa from whichever company that you decided to use as your resource into getting into Nepal. Because if you're trying to get in by yourself, you're going to need some help, because you have to get government permits, you have to prepare for this. And also it's an expensive venture. You went from paying from like $40,000 to $80,000 or even above to go on this adventure. So why not make the best of your investment? There's frostbite, AMS, pneumonia. All these things are illnesses that you can acquire on your hikes in these harsh conditions.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So I realize that you have the degrees in Celsius, but what is that approximately in Fahrenheit? Do you know?
Now, okay. For the Americans in the room, negative 50 degrees would be around negative 120, I believe, Fahrenheit. I'll get the numbers for you after this. Usually we deal with people from all around the world. We don't have people. No, it's okay. Let's move on with I'm going to move on. I'll get back to you with that. Feel free to interrupt me with questions from the interview also. Since I have covered these, there are harsh conditions. I recommend Sherpa Adventure gear, and there's plenty of other products out there. There's North Face, there's Artec, there's all these other products and clothing lines that provide the same service. They all use the same technologies. Here they use, you have your basic products, your basic needs. You have your base wear, your mid layer, your thermals, your soft and hard shells, your insulation, lifestyle clothing for just when you're, walking around. And they all use the same technology. They all use PolarGuard, PrimaLoft, Thermalite, and ClimateShield. They all use a blend of materials, polyester, wool. They mix all these together, and they all provide a product that is similar across the board. And each have their own specialized blend. One may say, well, mine is North Face is a specific blend that they use for a lot of their products, and they have a special name for it. Sherpa Adventure doesn't have a name for their product, but what they do have is they have similar blends as North Face and other companies. And the reason I suggest Sherpa gear, Adventure gear, is because it was a company that was started by Sherpas, the ones that have been climbing the mountains since 1953, or before 1953, but 1953 was the first Everest climb. So they've been climbing up. They a lot of times don't use oxygen tanks. You have people that climb. You need oxygen to climb up. You have people carrying your luggage. The people carrying your luggage, carrying all your gear, those are a lot of times Sherpas. They live in the area. They live in Nepal. It's often low economy. They take on all the burden for you to experience your adventure. And Sherpa gear, I think, kind of gives back to the region of Nepal because it is Sherpa-owned, Sherpa-run, and they use modern technology and experience from all their adventures from previous years. Nepal really took off in 1951. Their economy took off in 1951 because in Nepal, that's when people started climbing mountains. They were like, oh, I want to go for adventures in the Himalayas. You know what? You know, where else? So they started going to Nepal. They needed guides. You know, it's harsh conditions. I don't know anything about mountains, but I see this giant mountain that's bigger than any that I've ever seen, and I want to climb it. You know, how am I going to get there? So they hire these Sherpas from the region. 1975 is really when infrastructure was starting to build. Before 1975, they didn't have any infrastructure. They didn't have education as widely spread around Nepal. It's still lacking in some areas. It's a developing area, and we keep coming into it. And you know, we leave when you're hiking up the trails, you're leaving your equipment all on the roads. You're leaving it all on the trails. You leave your oxygen tanks just laying around. The Sherpas have to come by and pick that up. They have to take care of the environment. They don't have the luxury of everything being taken care of for them. They have to work for what they get. They don't make much. And I think that Sherpa Adventure Gear, since it is made by them and produced by them, they benefit from it. They also donate to the children of Nepal, and they're hoping that if they get more profits, then they're going to donate to other organizations within the country. I want to thank y'all for y'all's time. I'm going to open up for questions, and hopefully that y'all enjoy y'all's visit on the 59th anniversary of the Everest climb.